Oh, there we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another episode of Witches and Wine. This is the show where we talk about witchy stuff and we drink wine. Clink and drink. Clink and drink, Terry. There you go. Salute.
Yeah, salute.
So, before we get started with this show, we do like to do a little disclaimer. The show is called Witches and Wine. Sometimes we get a little tipsy and misbehave a little if our viewers do not like to see that kind of behavior. There's this wonderful thing. It's the X. You can X out and not watch us. There's the disclaimer. So, before we get to our amazing guest, I'm going to turn it over to Silenus, and he's going to talk about the wine we're drinking tonight.
Thank you, honey. Well, tonight I chose a special bottle for a special man. This is one of the most unique grapes in the world. It is called a Tannat. It is the most. It's a grape that has the most antioxidants in it. It is also the healthiest, and is also the most tannic grape. It is also one of the most difficult grapes to grow and work with. But once you work with them and you get them to work out right, they're absolutely amazing. But very, very, very unique, just like our special guest tonight. We are very pleased to have Terry join us tonight. We'll have Lola and him kind of describe what Terry means to our
Community, our craft, yeah.
Yep. So if you find this wine, the grape only grows in France and in Uruguay. It is actually the national grape of Uruguay. You definitely have to let it breathe and breathe and breathe and breathe. This has been breathing for 45 minutes and it still needs to breathe some more.
It still needs to breathe. It's pretty.
Yeah, it's very, very, very tannic.
Yes. Can you what tannic means,
okay.
honey?
So tannic means grapes come with a chemical called a tannin, and it is the grippiness and the ageability of a wine. Cabernets, Tannats, Nebbiolos are high tannic grapes, which mean they have a lot of ageability. It is a natural preservative.
Yes.
To the grape. And so the grapes that have a very, very, very high tannic count also have a high antioxidant count, and they're considered the healthiest of grapes for winemaking, for health purposes, for hearts, and so forth.
So we're healthy today.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with healthy.
We'll go with healthy.
Yes. But with really tannic grapes, these are the ones that you can, like I said, they has the ageability. These are the ones you can lay down for 15, 20, 25 years, and they just improve and get better and better.
Yeah.
Then you have your softer tannin grapes like a Pinot Noir, like a Lambrusco grape, Moscato grape. These are wines that you make them, you drink them within 3 to 5 years, you're done with them typically.
Yeah.
Because they just don't age longer, or they fall apart.
Yeah.
And break down. So that's what a tannin is.
Well, thank you, honey, and thank you for introducing the wine.
Absolutely.
All right, so I am so excited about introducing our guest. My dog is excited too.
Yeah,
she's
licking
my arm. This is the what does Bella call you? The illustrious?
Yeah, the illustrious.
The illustrious. I just want to call you the amazing. It almost sounds like you're a magician that performs on the amazing Reverend Terry Riley.
Yeah.
So Terry,
I don't know if I'm famous or infamous. So yeah.
A little bit
it
of
matters
both.
who you're talking to.
Yeah.
Welcome Terry Riley to our show. We really appreciate this. And real quick, can you tell us who you are and where you are and all that fun stuff?
I am the founding high priest of the Southern Delta Church of Wicca ATC in Lake City, Arkansas. We joined the ATC in January of 1994. We established the church when Pete helped us back at the time when we were having a lot of problems here. We're right in the middle of the Bible Belt.
Yeah.
And we were having a lot of problems at that time, and I needed some help. And back in that time, you didn't have the computers. You didn't even have cell phones back then. So I was doing everything on the landlines, trying to get people to help and this, that, and the other. Pete was the one that jumped in, helped us the most. And he said, he goes, might benefit you. He goes, I can legally ordain you. I went, really? And he goes, yeah, I can legally ordain you. As a matter of fact, I can help you establish a tax-exempt church. And I went, really? Well, I'm interested in that. And that started our role being part of the ATC and working with the congregations and then Bella took over as the archpriestess when Pete crossed over and I've been working with Bella and the ATC ever since. And in her infinite wisdom, about 3 years ago, she made me the regional elder of the Aquarian Tabernacle Church in the Mid-South region.
Yeah.
That means I got 4 other churches in my region that whenever they have financial problems or legal problems, we don't deal with the spiritual aspect. Each church is autonomous on their own. They practice their faith and stuff. But if they have legal questions and stuff, rather than bother Bella, they call the regional elder. And if I can't answer it, then I have to go to Bella.
Yeah.
So I've been doing that for about 3 years, and I got about 4 churches I work with: Beehive Coven in Louisiana, Red Grail up in Nebraska, over in Nashville, Alfred Willahawk, and they're all in my regions where I work with those. And then this year, she, in her another infinite wisdom splash that she had hit her brain, she decided to offer me to become the high summoner of the Aquarian Tabernacle Church, which means she wants me to work with the other ATC churches worldwide. So I said, oh, okay. So yeah, you're going to give me some more responsibility. Okay, yeah, fine, I'll do that too. So as of January, I'm now the official high summoner of the Aquarian Tabernacle Church, and I really don't know what all that consists of yet.
Yes.
I feel quite sure Bella will let me know, especially if I mess up.
The job and the requirements.
The job description is still working itself out. Yeah. Well, that's fascinating, and we actually are good friends with some of the Beehive Coven people. We spend a lot of time at Spring Mysteries with each other, and so we formed some great relationships with Beehive. We love the Beehive people.
Yeah, I love Debbie and all the people down there. Yep.
Yeah, we're big fans of Lindy and Ronald and
Oh yeah.
So well, we're affiliated with the ATC, but we've only been affiliated for
8 months,
6 months maybe. So we're new, but
newbies.
we're still a new coven too. We're
really? I didn't know that.
We're a baby coven.
Yeah,
we're only a few years old.
2.5 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we're just excited to be affiliated with the ATC, and Bella and I on her radio show, our chemistry is really good, so we've developed a nice friendship that way. And but yeah, we're just excited just to be part of the ATC. So I wanted to real quick talk about, before we get to our main topic, I know that your church in the Southern Delta Church of Wicca, you've been doing a lot of improvements on it. I've been following it on your Facebook. Can you tell us what projects you've been doing? I know planting and buildings and all that kind of stuff. What's been going on down there?
Well, first of all, we have a community garden, and we raise whatever vegetables that we raise in that community garden each year. We give it to the elderly and low-income families in the housing project here in Lake City. We gave away about 800 pounds last year.
Wow.
And this year we acquired extra property to expand the garden. So we're hoping to double the produce that we give away to the families this year. So we've been working, experimenting this year. We're going to try to grow cucumbers and squash on trellises.
Oh, okay.
Usually just let them go,
Yeah.
But I've been watching a lot of gardening videos, and all the ones, especially here in the South, they train the cucumbers and even the squash to grow up a trellis. That way you don't have to spread all over the ground. You don't have to, we're kind of safety around here too. So when you're in a patch of cucumbers and all them leaves down there and you're trying to find the cucumbers, you never know when you might run across a cottonhead or a coppermouth down here.
Yeah, you're in snake.
On a trellis, it eliminates that problem, and you keep.
Yeah.
So we're working on that this year. So we're working on the garden, and we refurbished the front entrance of the church. Now we redid the sign. There's a mosquito.
I see it. I see it. I thought it was an orange.
We're in Arkansas. All right. Look at that.
Yeah,
oh my gosh!
That thing can stand flat-footed and fuck a turkey. That's how big they are over here. Wow.
Maybe that's its job. I don't know.
We don't do skyclad here. You'll be anemic if you do. If you try to stay out there now.
I thought that was a hummingbird or something flying.
It's dangerous to try to do that here in Arkansas. We'll have another sip here. Hang on a minute.
Yeah, Clink and drink to big bugs in the south. There you go.
Yeah.
That was huge.
Oh, all right.
Wow.
So
Anyways.
where was I? Oh, I redid the front of the church. I repainted it, and I got some English ivy planted out front. The entrance of our church is one end of the parsonage, and it opens up to the church over there. And it's a small entrance, but when you go through the front door, you hit the great hall I've set up, and then you walk into the lounge, and then you can walk straight into the temple room, which we expanded on this past year. We enlarged it, so we got a huge temple room in there. And if you go outside to the right of the lounge, you go down a hallway that leads to the outdoor circle, which you got stone altar outside with the four. On our property here, we got 3 different sets of properties. We own the property the church is sitting on. We own the vacant lot across the street we use for gardening and parking lot. And then we bought another vacant lot right down the street. So on all the properties here over the years with the expansions and the buildings and everything we do, we've got 27 different altars set up on the properties all over the church.
Oh, wow.
So we maintain all of our altars. Right now I'm filming in the vestry.
Yeah.
And we have an altar set up over here. So the vestry is where we do the computer work in the office, but it's also where the high priest and priestess go into seclusion before we're doing the ritual in the circle, and the squires and maidens come in and attend us, so we can get partially invoked and partially set to go out to the congregation. They're already set up in a circle with the other squires and maidens, and grounding them and chanting them. So then we can come out after we get partially invoked and get in our spiritual frame of mind, and then go out, and we have our squires and maidens. We got about 6 of them that work the church with us, and they're all in clergy training, and this is their advanced training. So
nice.
And like I said, I got 2 grandkids here, and I just built them 2 special 2 bedrooms. So they've been sleeping in with their mama, and they've been sleeping in part of my room and beds and that, and so now they each got their own separate rooms. So I've been working on that. We've got a lot of projects going on here at the church in the past 6 weeks, even though we're in quarantine and shut down.
Well, I mean, but what else are you going to do? This is the perfect time to do that.
Exactly.
He Silenus asks, how many people are in your how many people are in your coven?
And in your congregation?
Well, we don't have a coven. I started with a coven in 1992.
Okay.
And I had about 13, somewhere between 10 and 13, 14 in the coven. But when I started the church, we had to change because we couldn't run the church in a coven structure.
Yeah.
It's more eclectic, and the circles are all open, so it's open circle. All of our circles and sabbats are open to the public or to and church membership and stuff. So right now, since we started in 1994, anybody who fills out a membership application or an application to take classes through the church or any kind of application paperwork, we've got 360 people on the books. At the church. Now they don't all show up here. Some of them have moved off, and right now we got a active membership that shows up on a regular basis, around between 40 and 60 people. They show up at now we do new moons, full moons, and all the 8 sabbats and stuff. So we have that on a local basis. It shows up regularly, not just on moons and stuff. They show up every day of the week. We're not on lockdown, so we usually got 10 or 12 people sitting around the church talking, and we got classes going on. We only do classes at certain times, but it seems like we always got students chunk drops by the church, and then you got classes going on all day and all the way into the night. So we always got a crowd of people around the church.
Are you doing online classes now with the lockdown? Like we're prisoners, the quarantine.
The shutdown. I like to call it shutdown.
Shutdown.
Yeah, we do. We have our classes set up to where we run 4 different levels. We run our seeker classes, our student classes, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd degree classes.
Okay.
And we've always had those set up on certain nights that each level comes over and we do their class. Well, now, before the shutdown, before the quarantine, before COVID-19,
Yeah.
on Facebook, we had all of our classes set up on individual groups on Facebook Messenger.
Okay.
So we had our first degree class, people in the first degree class group, then second degree students, and then we could message and talk to one another. The teachers could talk to them on these Facebook groups in private messenger.
Yeah.
Now we just go onto a phone call on face call them on Facebook, and we do the classes, just like we're doing right now.
Yeah.
And so we're still doing our classes on the same nights.
Yeah.
And stuff, but we're just doing it through Facebook and the internet. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're doing our SPITs. We're still, we still are closed SPITs, and we have a smaller coven. We've got 7 people, so we do it through video. Right. And then every morning we meet Monday through Friday. We meet in the mornings on FaceTime or video to do a devotional type thing. So we just so we can start off our day with that spirituality and also seeing each other, because
staying connected with each other and helping each other everyone's day get started off well,
because we miss our coven members. We do.
We used to have a crowd around the church here, and now it's just me and the 2 high priestesses, and that's it, except for the grandkids and stuff. I'm an old sage, and I live with 2 high priestesses, and they keep me pretty damn busy all the time.
I bet.
Get this fixed. This broke down in here. Can you get this on your schedule? Oh, yeah, I'll get to it. Put it on my list. I'll get to you in a minute. I'll get it done. But they keep me pretty damn busy. Because I'm the only man around here.
Yeah.
I'm the only one that actually work a hammer and a saw.
Well, when this is all over with, when we're able to get in touch with each other physically, me and my husband we want to go down and visit the Beehive Coven. We want to see Alfred. We would love to see you guys. I mean, if you want to go to the South and
we want to do a little road trip
and visit everybody
see
down
everyone
there
for a day or 2.
Yeah.
I haven't been down there where Beehive's at. I don't know what Debbie and them's got set up down there. I hadn't been down there yet, but I know Alfred has got cabins on his property. He's got 5 acres there, so he can put you up. As a matter of fact, I was going to go to 3 Gates in June with him this year, but now him and Puff, Tish Owens over in Nashville, are combining to do the virtual 3 Gates and Puff festival on like we did Spring Mystery. So
I think that's pretty cool, and it's pretty cool that we are able to adapt, us witches, to the technology, the age of the digital witchcraft. I think that we're all doing pretty good. I mean, the Spring Mysteries online it
went really well. I was surprised. You only had 3 weeks after we decided. If she decided to, I went. Everybody went. We do that. I mean, I'm not computer savvy. I'm really computer illiterate. I'm an old man. I'm just getting into this new tech. I type with 2 fingers and the thumb. The thumb.
What is that, chicken?
I got after past that, but I can do that, and then but I'm not this. No. So I got my 2 high priestesses, Ivy and Ashley. When I do something done in a hurry, get in there.
He's my tech guy. He's a good tech guy, because I'm the same way. I mean, I'm getting better at it, but he's the one that I'm like, what's going on? Yeah.
Well, I got on Skype tonight by myself, got it all hooked up and everything. Ivy showed me how. I have to do the high council meetings every Thursday now, first month, and with the Bella and all them.
Yeah.
So she had to set me up on my Skype.
Yep.
Show me how to do it, and I shut the door. I want to see if I can do this. And then when you call, I hit. Which button do I hit? Oh, that was. Hey, you showed up. That's a lucky guess.
Well,
what, do I go to the camera or the phone? Camera. All right.
Well, let me tell you, your Chiron was, or Chiron. Am I saying it right? I say it wrong. Chiron was. You portrayed that energy. It came through. Well, everyone's energy came through, but you were so great. Just leave me alone. What do you want?
Well,
I got one job.
Well, and it's so funny because you're so engaging, and you have an effervescence about you. You're fun. You're bubbly.
Yeah.
And Chiron's like
Conrad's a
Why are you
grumpy
bothering
old-
me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the way Bella and them. When we did rehearsals and everything, they kept getting. I did the first time we did rehearsals. We didn't have the camera. We were just doing voice.
Yeah.
And I did that. I read my lines with Nicodemus, and and I went through the whole script, and then there was dead silence, and then everybody just busted out. Oh my God, that was fucking awesome! And I'm like, okay, now, can you do this? Can you do that? And then Bella said, well, can you do a backdrop? And I went, yeah, I can do a backdrop. What do you want? She goes, I said, I can even do a cave. She goes, can you do a cave? And I went, yeah, I can make a cave. She goes, I'd like to see you in the cave. I went, I'll have it next week, Bella.
Well, it was, Spring Mysteries online was incredible.
It went over really, really well.
Yeah.
I was excited.
I was surprised it went over
We were
well.
too.
We were too.
A lot of people were.
I was expecting a lot more hiccups, especially with the compressed time frame that it all had to be done in.
3 weeks.
I know, 3 weeks to get that set up. I have to give credit to Dee and Scott and all the techno ones that set that up.
Yeah.
I know they didn't sleep for 3 damn weeks. They had to be on that thing 24 hours a day, working out all the glitches and stuff. Because every time we did a rehearsal, things would have to change.
Yeah.
So yeah. I give the credit to the techno pagans on that. So
right, those tech witches are
right.
It comes in. Let's clink and drink to the tech witches. That's clink and drink to the tech witches. So let's start our topic because you were on Candid Chats with Bella, and I helped co-produce that, so I get to listen into the interviews and stuff and get them. So I'm in the background enjoying it. But
don't undersell yourself. You helped conduct some of those interviews.
I helped conduct some of the interviews, yes.
Yeah.
But you started talking to Bella about leadership, and I was just enthralled because to me this is an important topic. One, because I think it's important for our pagan leaders, our elders, to see what works and what doesn't work. And to see what works with some, and you know what I mean? And so especially for me personally, like I said, baby coven here, I'm the high priestess, he's the high priest. We're learning. We're still learning. And so the one thing that I really tuned in on when you were talking about leadership was, and I'm going to slaughter the words, but you were talking about sanguine. Yes.
The personality temperaments, four personality temperaments,
Can you go into that? How that works for you? And
we teach that in part of our clergy training or leadership training. It's psychology basically, and it's the 4 personality temperaments, and the terminology was originally came up by Aristotle in 340 AD, and there's 4 personality temperaments. And they coincide with the 4 elements. Yeah. And there's sanguine, choleric, melancholy, and phlegmatic.
Okay.
Now, the best way to describe each one of them has different things they look at and how they relate to the world. It flows through your personality temperament. The melancholy is associated with the element of water. That type of personality is a chart maker. They're a list maker. They're a perfectionist. They got details. They want they jot down everything. They're meticulous and they're just detail persons, and they love charts and they like lists and this, that, and the other. Yeah. Choleric is associated with the element of fire. This personality temperament is a take charge individual. Tells people what to do. They've been known to be bossy, brassy, and this they just a bulldozer. They get things done. Yeah. Okay. The phlegmatic is the peacemaker. Okay. The leadership type who just sits around and whatever comes, it just kind of takes it with an easy flow, don't want to make waves and this, that, and the other, and they're the peacemaker. The sanguine is the life of the party, the person who's the loudmouth, who's this, that, and the other, and they're the charm, they charm people into what they want them to do.
Did you see my husband just stare at me when you said that? You know what I am.
Yeah. Well, see, in relationship, that's why it's valuable in learning in leadership, learning these personality temperaments and how they associate and how people react through the world. Because if you're dealing with people in a position of leadership, it it behooves you to have an advantage if you can look at their physical makeup, because we have been told all of our life, and it's in psychology as well, that we're a walking replica of our own thoughts.
Yeah.
Our body will manifest according to what we think. Each one of those personality temperaments has physical characteristics.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can recognize the physical characteristic of this individual, and then you know their basic thought patterns of their personality temperament, you know what you can and cannot say
Yeah.
to them to upset them. It's another way of divining or being able to read that individual.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and it's psychology, but it also mixes in with divination. Now, primarily what these personality temperaments do is, because of the way we react to the world since we were born and the environment we was raised in, we all have all 4 personality temperaments inside of us.
Okay. Yeah.
But because of the way we was raised and the influences we had and the way we had to learn to get along in the world,
Yeah.
we found out that we will relate to the world through primarily 1 or 2 of the personality temperaments.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, to me, I'm a sanguine choleric. I'm a life of the party. I'm a loud mouth. I'm an airhead sometimes, but I'm also choleric. I mean, I'm kind of bossy. I want to get things done.
That's me too.
And they got, we got tests that we can take in our classes when they get to a certain point, that you can find out once you take this, this written test, and we ask questions, and they sit down with partners and stuff through their classes, and they figure out what personality temperament they are utilizing through the test.
Yeah.
So then you find out whether you're a sanguine choleric or a melancholy choleric or a flagwin melancholy.
Yeah.
See, now when I first took the test back, crap, I guess it was about, my wife gave it to me in 1989, first time we discovered the test. The test comes out of a book written by Florence Littenhauer called Personality Plus, okay, or the Personality 3.
Okay. Oh, okay, yeah.
So if you get that book, it's got the test in it. It tells you about the 4 personality temperaments, and we actually use that book in our classes, okay?
Oh, okay.
So when you take that test, and when Mandy, my wife, gave me that test in 1989, there's 4 columns in that test. There's sanguine, choleric, melancholy, phlegmatic.
Yeah.
And then you total up your score, and however what your score is at the end of it, you find out which 2 you work with. I think I had like 17 sanguine, like 15 choleric.
Yeah.
I had 3 melancholy and 0 phlegmatic. I didn't use the phlegmatic at all. Now, I don't know how to keep my mouth shut. I don't know how to be the peacemaker. I didn't know any of that stuff. I never used that part of myself,
Yeah.
As a melancholy, no, I'm not a detailed person. I'm a scatterbrain. I don't make lists. You know what I learned, though? I wrote a book. Got it published in 2011. I found out if you're going to write a book and get it published, you got to learn how to spell. You got to look at the dictionary a lot. You got to do a lot of melancholy and paperwork to write that book. So I developed a lot of melancholy by writing that book.
So you were able to do it.
The whole scheme of the thing is we all have all 4 personality temperaments. We need to create balance.
Yes.
Instead of utilizing just 1 or 2 of them, there's certain situations where phlegmatic would benefit the situation better to use that part of our personality, or sanguine, or choleric. The wisdom then is knowing what situation in which personality temperament we need to tap into to utilize for that situation. But if you can't, like me, I never tapped into my phlegmatic. So I couldn't utilize it. I had to learn through my self-study, okay, what do I got to do? I got to develop to utilize more of my melancholy. I got to become more detailed.
Yeah.
I got to become, learn to shut my mouth and just listen more often. Which is tough for me to learn to do. That's not me.
Me too.
And all my students say the same thing. I said, well, you're weak in this area. Phil, Deborah, whatever you name it, you need to work on this.
Yeah.
Well, Terry, this is their statement. Well, Terry, that's just not the way I am. And I look at them and go, how the hell's that worked out for you so far? Why are you in here trying to learn to do something better? You're obviously not happy with the way you are. This should tell you this is what you need to do to change. We're in a religion of change. Excuse me. Wicca is a religion of change.
Yes, and balance.
Molding and shifting and changes. There's no such thing as inertia. We live in an ocean of motion. You can't stay stuck where you're at and expect to progress. It's just not going to happen. We got to change.
And when you, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's that whole working with your shadow.
Yes.
The shadow work.
Yes, that darn word comes up all the freaking time.
For you, it's
ourselves we don't want to recognize, don't want to, we want to push it in the back, but that's the part that's holding us back. You got to work with that. You got to bring it out first. You got to recognize it.
Yep.
And then you got to learn to deal with it.
I've had to work on learning to listen, and that is something. And it's I know that I love to talk and I love to entertain. But I think in the past few years since I become a high priestess, I am being very, I'm very aware that, you know what, sometimes people just want you there to listen and not dole out the advice. Right. They're not looking for an answer. They just want someone to listen. And that was really hard for me to do.
It's still hard.
For me too.
It's still hard.
Especially when you know the answer.
When you know the answer.
When you know the answer, but you don't to hear it.
Sometimes it's so difficult. I had a student tell me this one time. He said, if my best friends had let me go through some stuff that my clergy let me go through and didn't warn me, I'd probably kick their ass. Sometimes, this is the way I teach. I had a guy, this is the way I teach, okay? I used to lay floor covering for a living back in the day when I was working. And we laid asbestos tile that goes down on the floors in all these schools and everything. I had a young guy who was in my church, one of my students, and he's just working with me. And we're in this big school, and we got to put the tile down. So, and he's a nerdy guy. He's a computer whiz and stuff. Didn't have a whole lot of experience in physical labor. So there's a buffer sander. It's a big machine. It's got a sanding disc on it, and you hold it and you sand the floors. Yeah. So I take him in this room and I say, okay, I need you to run this sander and sand this floor because we got to get it smooth so we can come in here and spread the glue and put the tile down. He went, okay. I said, you ever run a sander before? He said, no. I said, okay, you can handle it. I'll walk out of the room. Now we're working in a building in the middle of summer with no air conditioning.
Oh God.
It's in Mississippi and it's 97 degrees in the building. And I'm outside in the hallway working and I look up and he comes outside. He's drenched in sweat and he's got long hair like me. It's all matted up. His back is like yours are cocked sideways on his face and he's drenched in sweat. And he walks up to me and he goes, Terry, is there an easier way of running this sander than what I'm doing? I said, well, I don't know. Let me go see what you're doing. I said, what are you doing? And he's holding the sander out like this, pushing it, and it's just beating him all over the place, dragging him all over the damn room. I said, no, this is the way you run it. I said, you put it up next to your hips. Yeah. The handle's right here. You squeeze it. I said, then you move your body with the sander. And he stood there and he looked at me and goes, why didn't the hell you tell me that? You brought me in here. And he just instead of letting me fight this damn thing for 45 minutes. I looked at him and I said, well, I figured that you're young and you're headstrong. I said, and if I'd explained that to you in the first place, you wouldn't have been in the position or ready to even listen to me and you wouldn't have heard me. Yeah. I said, but now after you fought it for 45 minutes, you're in a frame of mind that you want to know.
Yeah.
And he went, yeah, you're right. You're exactly right.
You know what you did.
I let them fight it for a while, and then they're in a frame of mind to ask me, okay, how do I do this now?
You know what you did to him, Terry? You remember Karate Kid, wax on, wax off?
Yeah,
you Miyagi'd him. You Miyagi'd him.
Yeah.
It's the holy.
And that's the way I teach. I just kind of let them, and I don't let them get hurt.
No.
But you got to let them come to the conclusion that, because here's the thing about, I'm 60. I'm going to be 66 years old in September.
Yeah.
And everybody says, Terry, I want to know your wisdom. And I look at them and go, and I seen something on Facebook the other day that made me laugh. And it was a meme that somebody said, at my age, after every stupid thing I've done in my life, if I die now from touching my face, I'm going to be pissed.
Right?
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
They asked me, what's your wisdom? I said, well, first of all, I said, I don't have any. And what little wisdom I do have comes from this. I said, you know how you get wisdom?
Experience.
That comes from experience.
Yep.
And now you know how you get experience? By fucking up.
Yes.
You learn from your mistakes.
I said, so I can always tell you what will not work. I can't tell you exactly what worked, but I can damn sure tell you what won't work. Because I done tried it. So that's my wisdom.
No, that's perfect. And so that brings me to my next question. When you are dealing with people who are working their shadow work and they're making the mistakes but they're trying to learn from it, do you find it difficult, like we were just saying, to tell them? Because sometimes we can see how it's going to play out because we're witches and we can already tell this, and we can sit there and tell the person, this is what's going to happen. You do this, then this is going to happen. Do you tell them that, or do you let them make their mistakes? You let them just find out on their own? Is that hard for you sometimes to sit back and watch?
It is because I'll give you a prime example. He's going to be watching this show. So, so he knows that I'm going to be talking about him. It's the guy that I put in charge of our community garden. I made him the garden coordinator.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's going to handle the garden area. Well, last year when we started, and I learned this in leadership. When you put somebody in charge of something, you can't micromanage them. You let them do it. Yeah. So he decided he was going to put up raised beds. I said, okay. And I'm sitting there looking at him. He goes, it'll work as else. I said, I did all the research on the computer, Terry, and this is the way it's going to work. And I got the money to go allotted to go get the stuff, and we can get the soil. And I went, okay, now we're in a rush for time. This is March. I said, you do realize we got to get the crops in the ground by April.
Yeah.
That's our time frame here in Arkansas. He goes, oh, yeah. So he goes out and he gets all this stuff, and he starts putting these beds together. And now we're running out of money to get the soil to go in the bed. So we were late getting the crops in. And then it didn't work out well. So, after harvest season, he goes, I've come to the conclusion that we're going to do away with the raised beds. It's more functional just to do the old garden. I said, yeah, I kind of knew that when you come up with that idea, but I didn't say anything. He goes, why didn't you say anything? I said, well, here's the deal in a position of clergy leadership.
Yeah.
Leadership is more about behavior than it is about management. I said, if I had told you, I don't think that's a good idea. I said, that would have been coming off. I said, I wouldn't intend it to come out that way in my mouth. But in your position, looking at it from your perception, you might have took that as me being authoritarian and telling you that you're an idiot. I said, so he goes, but you should have told me. I said, you wouldn't have listened because you would have been blocked by the ego inside there thinking that I was telling you and that I was right and you was wrong. I said, now I did mention it to you in a roundabout way to see if you were opening to listening to me. I made suggestions that you think it would be better. I said, I even demonstrated on the other end of the garden. I went down there and tilled the soil and planted the crops in rows. And we had harvest there. We didn't have any in your beds.
Yeah. So you were already. Yeah.
And he kind of got upset with me. He said, I said, that's the way I teach. I said, you learned more by having that experience yourself than you ever did. I said, here's the whole deal. The word education comes from two Greek words. Ed, meaning knowledge, and educate, from within.
Yeah.
So you can nobody can educate you. As a spiritual leader, my job is to lead you to find the answer you already have inside yourself and make you aware of it.
Yeah.
And he went, oh, I said, me telling you something is not teaching you.
Yeah.
Me trying to explain to you what my experience is, but you haven't had the experience. So it's not a reality to you.
Yep.
Once it becomes a reality to you, now you have a truth. And now we have a shared truth. And we did get some harvest out of the raised beds and stuff. So it wasn't a total loss. But I knew it wasn't going to work. but he's younger than me. He's 30 years younger than me. I've done a lot more gardening. I went, but I said, I have faith in you. You're going to be the garden coordinator. And he's done an excellent, job the whole time he's done it.
Yeah.
Has he made mistakes? Yeah. Have I made mistakes? Just today? Yeah. But what is the one Wiccan tenet that we have in the ATC? To be a first degree is one who knows how to use their magic and can learn from their mistakes and not repeat them.
Yes.
That's the qualification of the first degree priest or priestess.
Yeah.
So I have learned a long time ago. I messed up. Own up to it quickly. I messed up, man. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I will never do that again. It's the same thing about a cat jumping on a hot stove.
Yeah.
If a cat jumps up on a hot stove, it will never jump up on a hot stove or a cold one again. It just goes out of stove jumping business. It learns. That hurts.
Yes.
We as humans aren't as smart as a stupid cat. We'll do something and go, damn, that really, made me hurt and this, that, and the other. And then we'll turn right around
and do it again.
Do the same damn thing again. I've had students that do that. And I look at them and go, why did you do that? You knew yeah. And they'll go, I don't know.
We don't know.
I had answer. And I got to the point at my age, I look at them and go, that's brain damage. I don't know what else to tell you. You're now just becoming my category as a thumb-sucking pinhead. If you know this is going to hurt you, and you know that, then you're trying to repeat the same behavior again, expecting different results.
That's insanity.
That's
insanity.
Until they learn that, there's nothing else you can do other than go, okay.
Isn't that kind of what our lives, I mean, when we keep coming back and learning that, because obviously we did not learn it the first 12 lives.
And I know I used that same thing to my teachers back in the day. Why did you do that, Terry? I don't know. And I know they were polite. They weren't like me. They weren't a sanguine. They're going, brain damage. That's all I can make a day. You got brain damage.
Well, do you? We had a workshop a few months before the quarantine. We had someone, one of the pagan groups here in our town, invited a lady over who's an author and a tarot reader, and she's Courtney Weber Smith, I believe that's her name. And she did a tarot workshop, and she's great. And we had a breakfast. A lot of the elders in the community got to have breakfast with her and pick her brain. And she was talking about running a coven, and she was talking about how some people consider their coven or their group, their circle, their family. And you fall into those roles sometimes of mom and dad and then the children. Okay, you see where I'm going with this? And so she did that before, but then she said she stopped considering it a family because it got too complicated. Do you find that happens? Like, is that something that's common when we fall into a family role in leadership? And it's almost like, I feel like they're my children and I'm the mom, but it's different, right? What do you have to say about that? Oh, he's going to light a cigarette for this one. This is thinking shit's getting real.
Years ago, there's a lady who's got several books out on the market. She's a good friend of mine by the name of Ellen Hopman. Okay, she was head of Kelter for a while. I brought her down to our festival we was having in Memphis years ago to as a guest speaker, and we did the festival. And she stayed at our house a couple of days afterwards, and I was taking her down the river walk by the Mississippi River in Memphis. They got a place down there, and we're walking down the river. And I said, "Well, what did you think of the festival?" And she looked at me and she said, "Terry," and at that time I only had about 6. It was the middle of August. It was the Lunasaw Festival or Lamas, and we was at the park with no air conditioning and 90 degrees out there. So I had about 60 people that showed up. Okay. So she looked at me and she said, "Terry, you have a really close-knit unit in your church." She goes, it's a tight family.
Mm-hmm.
I said, yeah. She goes, you ought to be proud of that. And I said, well, thank you, Ellen. She goes, however, it's not going to last.
Mm.
I said, what do you mean? She goes, you got that set up now because it's such a small group. They got access to you. They can, they can call you at any time. This and as the group grows, the church congregation gets bigger. She goes, you start getting 100 to 200 people in there. You're going to lose that family stuff because you can't minister to that many people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She said, if you look at it, and I learned this from her and different research after she told me this. In the old days, the covens were usually run by 2 or 3 elders. They've been around for a while, and they usually took 1 or 2 students a year, if that.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, they didn't have all the gadgets we got. They didn't have cell phones. They didn't have computers and this, that, and the other. So at least 2, or say at least 4 times a week within the Covenstead, which was only 3 miles at that time, generally they lived close by, the elders would have the students at the coven gatherings, which was not just on moons. They, went over there all the time, day in and day out, and they taught the students the first degrees and the second degrees. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And they taught them along, giving them specialized 2 to 3 elders working with 2 students, maybe. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now I look at my students now. We have classes, first degree classes, every 2 weeks, and they're on Monday night. So every Monday night, the first degrees come in for their class.
Mm-hmm.
According to the standard Wiccan tradition out there, your classes are a year and a day.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at them and I go, now you've seen in our curriculum here at Southern Delta what's required in our checklist for you to acquire first degree elevation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I said, you're coming to class once every 2 weeks for an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Okay. And that's about 24 classes a year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's about 24 hours that we've only got to spend with you. Do you actually believe that I can teach you everything you need to know about being a first degree priest or priestess in 24 hours?
No.
You don't have that luxury anymore.
Yeah.
So that's why it takes. Now, if you want to come over here and move in with me here at the church,
yeah,
and not have to work your job and not have to support your family and hang out with me for 8 to 15 hours a day, you make it a lot sooner because I give you classes all that time you're here with me.
Yeah.
But we don't have that luxury anymore.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we become the mom and pop, especially coven leaders. You become what is classified as the big person,
Mm-hmm.
the mom, the daddy. Okay?
Yep.
Now, what happens is a thing called psychological transference. Because you're the head,
Mm-hmm.
you're the mama, you're the big person of the coven now. You're what most coven leaders don't understand, and I went through this too, is if you're the coven leader, you have a big bullseye on your back.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. The
Yeah.
target.
You're the one. Now, here's the deal. There's a thing called psychological transference. This is the programming and the belief system and the shadow work that we have inside of us that was brought up, that we acquired through our raising by the people in our environment and the people, the figures of authorities in our families when we were brought up. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll have to say, my family was average to the others out there, and 90% of them out there are dysfunctional. Yeah. So we carry on all this stuff, and what happens is, if you're the coven leader and they're looking to you, what the coven leaders need to understand is the people, your coveners, are looking to you as a living example of what they want to become. See? And then here's the thing. They're scared to death that you're not perfect. So the minute you jump off that pedestal or fall off that pedestal, they get disillusioned.
Yeah.
And they start attacking.
Mm-hmm.
They start finding the ways to argue with you. They start finding the ways to come, and that's all psychological transfer and taking what they believe and stuff and transferring it on. Now, the smart coven leader would recognize this.
Yeah.
Learn to keep it in check. What we call it In our group, it's called when somebody's going through that and they're attacking me or attacking member. This is what we say. They're going through a growth experience.
Oh yeah.
I understand that although their anger is directed at me, it's not about me. It's about them not recognizing something inside themselves they're not wanting to deal with. Part of spiritual growth. So
Or they do
leaders can keep their ego in check and recognize that, and then you'll be able to diffuse that psychological transference and get down to the truth of the matter of what's actually this part of that person's spiritual growth they need to be looking at. But the minute our ego jumps up, or yes,
I've never done that. I've never done that.
If you keep the ego in check and recognize it for what it is, they're going through a growth experience here. And that's hard. That's hard because most people don't even recognize it when they're doing it.
And the thing about that is that I hope that I display a way that look, I'm not perfect and I'm gonna make mistakes all the time, but I'm also gonna try to show that I will own the mistake, and I will discuss it and say, yeah, I probably handled that incorrectly, or I didn't know that was gonna happen. And that is a teaching moment. Everything can be a teachable moment. But you're right. They do, a lot of times they do look at you. They want you to be something that you're really not, and they put you on a pedestal.
They put you up there whether you jump on it or not. They're going to put you up there. Because here's the definition of a leader. A leader is somebody who's willing to do what others aren't willing to do. You were willing to start a coven.
Yeah.
You have the balls to go out and say, I'm going to start a coven.
Yeah.
Nobody else said that.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot.
I was describing to somebody one time. If you take a crowd of people, let's say 25 people, and you put them smack dab in the Amazon jungle, and they're lost out in the middle of this jungle, nothing but trees and branches and all that, just massive jungle around you. And you're standing out there and you're all lost. You don't know which way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of the people out there has a machete, but they just stand there. The first person who goes, the hell with this shit, and starts hacking away. That shit, they're going to go, where are you going? I don't know, but I'm getting the hell out of here. Now, human nature says all the other 25 are lazy. They're not going to hack. They're going to follow where you've already hacked.
Yeah. There you go.
That makes you the leader. Not that you wanted to be the leader. You just did something they weren't willing to do.
Oh my God, I love that, because that is true. Because, and sometimes, it's hard for me because I'm still new to this. I've only been a third degree for a couple years, 2 years, 3 years, 4. I don't know.
4 years now.
4 years.
But the border after a while.
I know, and then I've only been running this coven for a few years.
Right.
And so I'm constantly learning, but and so I'm gonna have those moments of self-doubt where I'm like, am I just like, do I really know what I'm doing? Am I? But and I'm sure. Yeah.
It don't get any easier.
Terry.
Have those moments every day.
Damn you, Terry! You were supposed to say it gets easier.
No, I go to bed every night going, did I mess up today? Am I getting senile? What the hell?
Well, that makes me feel actually better, because then I look at all of you. I look at Bella and you. I look at all these great leaders in our community, or in not the community, but everywhere. And I'm like, I want to be like them. But as I get to know you guys more, you're sometimes you guys are like, okay, like you want to be like me, but
you want to be like me? Yeah, I've had people say that over the years. That guy said he came to the first festival. He goes, and I seen you out there, Terry. This is years later after we've become good friends, and he started running his own church and everything. And he's telling me, he said, I remember the first day I seen you at May Day. You were out in that field. He goes, the sun was glistening off of your hair. It was in the breeze. You were leading this circle of 150 people. And I looked at my wife and went, I want to be like that.
Yeah.
And now I'm where you're at. And damn, that's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. And I have to remind myself that running a coven is it's not as easy, because I'm not going to lie. I thought that
clergy's not always fun.
Clergy is well, not just clergy, but teaching people how to be in clergy is not easy. And it's a constant learning, but obviously it's what the goddess called to me to do, because when I was in my previous coven being trained, there was a time when I said, because they said, well, we can train you to be in clergy and you can hive off and start your own coven. And I said, why would I want to do that? And then because I saw what they went through, and I'm like, well, I don't want that responsibility. But then something clicked, and something changed in me, and I'm like, wait a minute, I do want to do this. I can see myself doing this. And I'm thinking, why the hell is that happening? Like, why the hell would I want to do this? But I want to do it. And I thought it would be easy. I really did.
Yeah.
Because my teachers made it look pretty easy.
Practice.
But now that I'm in it, I have times when I'm like, what the fuck did I sign up for?
You had a key phrase there. It's a calling.
Yes.
I back years ago, I had different high priestesses and high priests. This was 30 years ago. Would call me from Ohio or call me from over here. This is back before we had cell phones and internet shit. They called me on the phone.
Yeah.
And the questions every one of them had said, Terry, we have people. I'm wondering if you experience the same thing. We have people that come into our coven.
Yeah.
They're all excited. They get really jumped up and they want to jump in there. And he said they last for about 3 to 4 weeks and boom, they're gone and we never hear from them again.
Yeah.
He said, do you have that thing? I said, yes, everybody goes through that. And I said, now here's what I've come to. When they see the ornament and the gleam of magic, they get all excited, and they want to come into the coven and they want to learn how to be a witch and they want to learn how to do all this stuff. And I go, okay, you need to read this book. And they go, oh shit, you mean I got to read a book?
Yeah.
Oh damn, I got to practice?
Yeah.
I said, now, the ones that stick, the ones that fly away, they made an intellectual decision. I want to do this. That was an egotistical decision to do this. The ones that stick and stay with it and becomes part of their path, and they actually move into it. I said, the intellectual decision leaves the mind, and to those people, it enters their heart.
Yes, it moves the heart.
Then it becomes a heart decision.
Yeah.
And that's the ones you're looking for.
So true. So true, Terry.
We have a say, like I said, we've had 300 something people come through this church that actually signed paperwork.
Yeah.
We still have people that come to one circle, feel the energy, get excited, and they go, we want to sign up for classes. And I go, I've learned. I want to save a couple of trees. Why don't you come back to a few more circles? Before we're getting out the paperwork and sign you up on the spot here, we don't postularize. We're not out here trying to actively seek converts. So we want to make sure that this is the right path for you. So let's not rush into anything, And then if they keep coming back and they keep coming back, and then you feel the water's out a little bit more. Okay, well, why don't you read this book and tell me what you think of it? And I'll hand them a book. And if they come back and they've read that book, I'll go, oh, you actually read the book. Yeah. What do you think of it? Huh? All right, well, here, read this book. Read that book. And I tell you what, won't you write me down about 3 or 4 paragraphs of what you think of the book?
Yep.
And they come back and they got, you wrote it down.
Yep.
I'm going to mark you down as oh boy. That's what you look for. You look for the ones that are hungry.
When I joined my previous coven as a seeker, and I knew that I was going to meet with the elders, but I looked at their reading list, their suggested reading list on their website, and I picked the first book to read, and I read it all because, well, one thing that's great is I love to read. I love to read. So that's not that doesn't scare me at all. I'm like, okay, like I love it. But what I did, and I think it impressed them, and I wasn't trying to impress them, I just was like, I just took the book and I read it, and I was like, this is great. And I wrote down questions, and I knew that I'd be meeting with them.
Right.
And so I brought my questions about the book to them, and they weren't even expecting that. They were just like, we're just going to meet her and see how this works. And I'm like, I have some notes here.
You're one of the ones I always look for. If you'd have done that, hey, we need to hang on to her.
Ding, 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 flashing signs, everything.
I had no idea what that meant to them. I just was like, well, I'm gonna meet these guys, and and this book is really interesting. I think it was like a book by Ellen Dugan, or I can't remember. Yeah, that one. Yeah. And I was like, and I just took notes, and I just, we talked a little, and then I said, you guys, I brought my notebook, and I've got some questions about one of the books on your suggested reading list. And they looked at each other, and they're like, this has never happened. And I'm like, oh, well, and I'm like, oh, is that against the rules? And they're like, no, go ahead.
No, we love you. Yep.
Well, we're up. Oh, go ahead. I was going to say
you're doing the same thing. What you're looking for.
Yeah.
What I tell every one of my students. I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 5 in second degree training right now.
Yeah.
Going through clergy training. And I said, here's the difficult part. I said, you're right at second degree, completing second degree training. I said, you want to know the secret to becoming the third degree? And they went, yeah. I said, you've already become second degree, correct? Yeah. I said, you know exactly what needs to be done in our curriculum and what you have to do to become a second degree. They went, yeah. Well, here's what you do. Go down into our students and our first degrees.
Mm-hmm.
Show them how to go second degree.
Yeah.
Do that automatically makes you a third degree. They went, oh. I said, here's what it is. In churches and in covens, as teachers, we're not teaching students. Here's what we're actually trying to accomplish. We're teachers teaching teachers how to teach teachers to teach.
Yes!
That's exactly what we're trying to do, to keep the thing going for the next generation, on and on and on.
Yeah.
And they look at me, what? I've already taught you. Now I got to teach you how to teach. So you can go teach somebody else how to teach. Well, they can go teach somebody else how to teach down the line. And that's where we propagate the whole thing.
That makes me feel better, because that's what I'm trying to establish in our coven. We have a very small coven.
That's how you're doing my training.
That's how I'm doing his training, is to teach the ones under. I'm doing the ones under to teach those under them. And it's very small, so we're very intimate, and and a lot of it is because of our space. We don't have a lot of space. But that makes me feel better, because I'm like, that to me seems to make sense, is to already give them the reins to teach those below them. Right. I hate to say below them, but seconds teach first.
I got my, one of the requirements of once you get second degree initiation here is you are automatically going to be teaching you how to teach the seeker class.
Yeah.
You're going to be taking over the student class.
Yep.
The degrees. You're going to start teaching the first degrees.
Yeah, our second degrees organized.
And we have
our second degrees organize our
Southern Delta. I tell them, I said, you ever watch the movie Lion King?
Yeah.
The original?
Yeah.
I said, there's a song in there that you need to understand at the Southern Delta, because this is the way it works. You're going to come over here some night expecting to be my squire for the circle, and I'm going to look at you and go, oh no, you're leading the circle tonight as high priest.
Yeah.
15 minutes to prepare.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
I said, you remember that song in Lion King? Be prepared.
Yes.
Keep that in the back of your mind as you're going through our curriculum.
Yep.
I had an experience like that in our coven, where our third degree, not Lola, but our other third degree in our coven, had me priesting with her, but she didn't tell me what I was going to be doing.
Right.
And kept it all under wraps. And then 5 minutes before ritual, she's like, "Oh, by the way, you're invoking the Great Spider tonight.
Yes.
Figure that out."
Yeah.
And he did great. And I've watched, because some people being thrown into that wouldn't handle it well, but
No.
she knew as a third degree that he would handle it well.
Right.
And so I watched it. I was a little nervous for him.
Mm-hmm.
But when I stood back and watched it, he took to it like a dolphin to swim in. I mean, he just was like, okay. And a lot of it is that you can read all the books, but when you're thrown into the situation,
Right.
how are you gonna handle it? And that's a huge part. That's a huge part.
Every one of the students has the same thing over the years. Okay, first time they're going to invoke in circle, and they sweat over that, and they come and they go over that, and they go, "I don't know, I'm scared to death." I said, "Look, some of the best rituals that me and my wife did at May Day when we had 200 people in circle, we wrote on the back of a paper sack as we crossed the bridge going into Memphis." Now, we didn't prepare. We just invoke.
Yeah.
The powers that be flow through you as a vessel. What needs to be said will be said.
Yep.
Don't worry about it. Now,
Don't worry about it.
But you got to let go of that.
The ego, because you want to impress.
You want to impress. You want to make sure
Yeah, you got to go that little thing inside. Go, am I acting or am I actually invoking?
But you know.
Yeah. But once you do it, you know you're not acting.
That's what invocation feels like. Yeah, it is. Well,
it's co-piloting.
Terry, this has been awesome. We're over a little over an hour, and we have people who watch our show have ADD, so they'll tune out after an hour. So
hopefully we keep them entertained.
I think so. But is there anything before we close? Is there anything you want to add about leadership? Telling some newbies, like some new people, like I'm a new leader. Those people. What is some word? I'm going to say wisdom, but maybe I won't.
What are some sage-like words?
Sage-like words that you can say for that.
The best thing I can say is if you've got somebody like Lola that has stepped up into a position of leadership, you need to understand how much courage that takes. Now, the word courage is not the standard definition. Courage comes from an old Scottish word that means war. So when you step up and utilize courage, you're going to make matters worse before they get better. And that's the way it works in leadership. There's no really plan to go, hey, I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to be 30 years ago, I didn't plan to be a high summoner of the ATC or regional. 30 years ago, I was a carpet layer.
Yeah.
Feeding my family.
Yep.
Until I got inspired by the gods.
Yep.
But your leaders, you need to understand that they're human just as much as everybody else, but they're exceptional. Because courage it also doesn't mean that you never have fear.
Yeah.
Your leaders have courage, what that means is they're scared to death, but they're doing it anyway.
Yes.
And you need to respect that. That's what courage is. I was scared to death to do the march. Facing death or whatever. Big part of me went, screw this, I'm out of here. You top a mountain or top of the street there, and there's cops and 100 people blocking it with a cross and this, that, and the other, and blocking them. Going, I think I took this a bit too damn far. But got a turntail and went, screw this. All right, guys, we're out of here.
Yeah.
No, you still got to keep marching through that.
Yeah.
I don't know what to expect. They could have had guns. I didn't know that. That's a mob up there.
Yeah.
You march into that mob.
Oh my goodness.
Knowing what's going to happen.
But you did it.
You just, was I scared? Damn right.
Yep.
And I keep walking. I kept putting one foot in front of the other. The only way I made it to the end. I was scared to death, but I did it anyway, and that changed me because that was my warrior's initiation.
Oh, yeah.
And I was 38 years old when I done that. Up until that point in my life, I had never stood up for anything. When the things got tough in my life, I quit and walked away.
Mm-hmm.
I never stood up for anything. I never fought for any principle. If it got too tough in my life, screw it.
It's easier to walk away than persevere.
Yeah, it
When
is
that
easier.
march was over with, and we're driving back in the car, there's dead silence. There's about 7 people in the car. We're driving back after all this happened. And for the first time in my life, I stood against all odds on a principle outside of myself. First time in my life I'd ever done that. And I'm driving that car, and it's dead silence. And I just yelled out, "God damn, that felt good!" Everybody went, "Hell yeah, dude!" and from that moment on, that changed me. I had never felt that in my life. Something came up inside me that gave me the courage to go start a witchcraft church in the middle of the Bible Belt and all the persecution and all that stuff, and in the 90s, But something came up. I went, I want that feeling again. I want that. That's a calling. I want that.
Yes.
And so, if you're leaders of your coven, even not that drastic, but if they've got that kind of courage to step up, even if they're going to make mistakes, you still need to follow them because they got what it takes. And so do you. And so do you.
Thank you so much, Terry Riley. And where can we find you? I know you're Southern Delta Church of Wicca. You have a website?
SDCW-ATC.org.
Okay, and I'll put it in our description so people can find you. You're on Facebook.
Southern Delta Church of Wicca page on Facebook, and this, that, and the other. It's SDCW-ATC.org. That's our website.
Perfect. So, thank you, Terry. Thank you
thank you so much. Terry, this is awesome.
Oh my God, you are just an incredible person, and your energy just makes me so happy. It really does.
Your energy makes me happy too. I ain't got no more wine, but skull.
Clink and drink,
sir. Clink and drink. Yeah.
I've enjoyed it immensely. I enjoyed it much, a whole lot.
And if anyone in our viewers want to know anything more about us, Children of the Crossroads, ATC, you can email us at
crossroadscoven@gmail.com.
What was that?
crossroadscoven@gmail.com.
Thank you for joining us. Remember, always walk with the goddess. Be kind to one another. And until next time, blessed be. Thank you. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Wine. Clink and drink.
Blessed be.
And I will stop this. Bye, everybody.